Hello and welcome to the walk-off, everybody. I'm Scott Belford, joined as always by the best co-host in the
Hello,
biz,
hello.
Adam Mack, and we are talking our favorite team. But it's not really a week that we couldn't wait to talk about this team. In fact, if we were able to avoid it, we probably would have. This is not the team at its best, let's put it.
You know what the worst part of all this is, really? And I'm going to admit right off the top, this is a selfish, personal way of looking at it. I'm playing in a men's slow pitch tournament this weekend, and I know I'm going to see my buddy Gage, and he's going to say, "Hey, I listened to the podcast this morning, and we're going to have to talk about how terrible this team is." I'm
Yes.
gonna like, I don't even just get to get off of this with you, and then just exist and
Cleanse the
enjoy my
palate.
weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't
exactly.
just be like, well, let me go watch Stuart Skinner fucking screw the Oilers. Excuse my language, sorry. I can't even just enjoy the misery of the Oilers game in peace. I have to be around ball people for the next 72 hours
Yes.
while we're playing the Yankees. So we're going to have a real fun time on the back end of a 5 game losing skid. Oh, these are the worst. So, hello, Gage. I'll see you at ball tonight.
Yeah, and I
Let's get
mean,
into it.
the dream is here is that honestly, this team can dig its heels in against a very formidable foe in the New York Yankees, an
Imagine we
interdivisional
went 3 and
rival.
0.
Man, wouldn't that
Imagine.
be a dream? Listen, this team has lost five in a row. They've lost two series in a row. They're 12 and 13 after being four games above 500. And holy shit, did they ever need a day off yesterday? Like, honestly, I normally, especially early on in the ball season, as soon as there's a day off, I hate it. I'm craving baseball because you get used to that day in, day out. Every day there's something to watch. You get to follow your team. But I needed yesterday. I did not want to see the Blue Jays. I was really pleased to give it a day. What's happening here is that there's a lot of feelings coming up that are similar to feelings we've had in the past. And I think it makes it harder to deal with this team. Seeing the same defaults raise their ugly head, right? Like this, the same, sorry, default's the wrong word, the same deficiencies
Mhm.
raise their ugly head. And it's just really frustrating to see. So we are going to dive in. We're going to touch on this Astros series, and Adam's going to deliver three studs and a dud. Just by the way, a huge tip of the hat to Mr. Mack here. Adam, I know it was
That
not
was a
easy.
grind.
It was not easy for you to find three studs in a
Uh,
week where they lost five.
oh my God. Well,
And
like
we
I said on the Patreon preamble, if we could have at least lost all six, I could have just said, no, you're not getting any
no
studs.
stud for you.
No
Yeah.
stud for you, sir. Um, we did win that one in Seattle, so I felt guilted into. I'm going to reserve it because I think there will be a 6 game losing streak at some point this season where I'm off the hook for three studs and a dud. But we're going to save that for a winless week. So I
Yes.
did I did find three studs. They're few and far between. And a lot. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this for free. A lot of duds got away without penalty this week.
Yeah.
A lot of people should have been a dud who are off the hook because other duds were duddier.
Yeah.
So looking at you, Easton Lucas.
I mean, the truth is, if you don't score runs, you're in it rough. And they are not putting up any runs. Forget about power. I mean, I shouldn't even say that. Obviously, don't forget about power. You need power. But like they're not even getting hits right now. I mean, this is not where
Yeah.
you want this team to be. And again, I'm well aware 162 is a very long season. And Adam and I even said coming into this year that if this team is around 500 after April, their most difficult portion of this year's schedule, that they are right where they should be and that we will be happy. Now, obviously, in the Patreon portion of this, we've already pretty much said, yeah, we're not happy. We're going back on our own words here.
Just to throw this out, in the last 7 days, Blue Jays 27th in baseball, tied for 27th. So third worst for hits with 32.
Guess what, guys? Dead last for home runs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is it's not pretty. And you really just hope that this team can dig its heels in and get some wins in New York. They desperately need it. If they can come out of New York and win this series, we're right back where we got to be despite a very very ugly last week. And it isn't impossible. This is the other thing that's really frustrating, Adam, is you look around the rest of the American League and you're like, what is going on? The Baltimore Orioles. I mean, my God, dude, that pitching staff, the Orioles pitching staff, I didn't look up the actual numbers, but it's got to be one of the worst in baseball. And not only that, on top of them going into the season with a pretty ugly starting rotation, they've had these injuries and it's even worse.
There are only two teams in baseball with a team ERA over five. The Colorado Rockies, 507. The Baltimore Orioles, 525.
Wow. So they legit are the worst team in baseball.
Literally. Well, if ERA is to be all it's cracked up to be. So,
I think, especially when you're including starters, ERA is a pretty accurate full picture view of what's going on in Baltimore. And
team whip, they're in second last,
yeah,
154. The Rockies are 156. And then by opponent batting average, they are dead last as well. 291 opponent batting average against the Orioles.
wow. Which honestly, you almost need to kind of give the Rockies a little bit of a pass being playing in Colorado is such a bandbox. And on top of it, take a look at the NL West. It is insane the teams that they need to keep constantly going up against and their interdivisional rivals there. This is the thing, man. Like, Baltimore is scuffling. The Rays are playing in a minor league park and have not really found their feet. The Red Sox, they're in the Blue Jays category. Question marks all over that field, except for Alex Bregman, who is literally looking like the best version of himself and the best free agent signing. Forget about Red Sox in Major League Baseball this year.
While we're talking Orioles and their pitching staff, I'm just sorting by home runs given up. Orioles also struggle in that category. 31 home runs given up. Last place, the worst, most home runs allowed is the Rays, 39. Now that could also be in part because they are, like you said, playing in a minor
Minor league
league stadium,
ballpark.
essentially. Second worst, Toronto Blue Jays,
Yeah.
33 home runs. So we have the second most home runs allowed and the second fewest home runs hit.
Not a good combo. And
It's
this
not a
is
good recipe,
why
man.
this is the recipe to lose five in a row, which is where this team is at. So let's we've got all the negativity off of our chest now here for just the
Now
last
here's
five
some
games.
more.
Yeah, the last five games, anyways. We are going to do three studs and a dud here because we need to keep these running totals going. Obviously,
Yeah.
all season long, this is what Adam has been doing is giving every week's three studs and a dud. We've had some questions about what are the criterias? Where does this work? So, criteria is week to week, our Friday show to our Friday show. If
Yeah.
uh if our Friday show winds up on a Saturday, rarely does, but we're crazy here on the walk off. You never know when we might just push it a day. Then it
Yeah.
would go Friday to the Saturday. Whenever
There
our
you
podcast falls, that is the week we're talking. All right. Now,
go.
people, some folks have gotten right down into the nitty gritty of the wins above replacement of it all. There is some vibes going into these decisions. It's not
Yes.
all vibes. Adam takes a good long look at those numbers beforehand. I know when he joined the Zoom call here, he was in a bit of a tizzy. Not fun numbers to look at.
Breaking a sweat. Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, it is 15% more vibe based than wins above replacement is.
Okay.
Wins above replacement, I am very critical of as being just a vibe stat. And this is slightly more just a vibe than wins above replacement. So
Okay.
you're going to find there's a correlation between wins above replacement and studs and duds factor, but it's not a 1-to-1
Hmm.
correlation. So all right, let's dive into it then. Three studs and a dud. This is week 4 essentially. Um, Stud number 3, Ernie Clement. We've been ragging on him a lot. I think he had one good game this week, but it was a really good game that flooded the rest of his numbers to not look so bad. So Ernie Clement, 13 at bats through 6 games. He got 5 hits and a double. Good for an OPS of 847. The only guys on the team with a better OPS, Nathan Lukes, 3 games, 6 at bats. Of course, he missed some time for paternity leave. And then Tyler Heineman only got 1 game, had 4 at-bats, got 3 hits, a double, and a 1.75 OPS.
Yeah.
So really good numbers from Tyler Heineman in short usage. That's been the story of Tyler Heineman's season,
Hmm.
honestly, is used sparingly, but overachieving when he's in the lineup. So it is what it is. Ernie Clement, though, closest thing to full-time usage of anybody with good-looking numbers offensively. So Ernie Clement is your third stud of the week. The other two are pitchers. Stud number 2, Mason Fluharty.
Good for him.
Good for him. 2 appearances, pitched 2 and 2/3 innings, 5 strikeouts, no
Yeah.
walks, no hits. So about as good as you could ask for from a bullpen guy.
23-year-old lefty just recently called up in the second week of the season, somewhere in there after they had kind of let Richard Lovelady go. He was the go-to lefty in the pen for the Bisons all season last year. Definitely put up some pretty good numbers in AAA and has struggled out of the gate with his appearances as a Blue Jay. Really good to see him kind of finding his footing here, which is what we're seeing out of kind of both lefties in the pen, Brandon Little and Mason Fluharty.
Um, Stud number 1. Now, keep in mind,
Not a
I
lot of
do,
studs.
I do tend to err on the side of innings is worth more than pure numbers. Early in the season, I know there was a lot of frustration. Easton Lucas wasn't a stud, lost out to Chris Bassett. And
Hmm.
I said reason being was Bassett went, I think, 6 full innings of shutout ball, whereas Easton, maybe it wasn't even a shutout through 6, but it was like 6.5 or
Yeah.
something. And Easton Lucas went 5 shutout innings. But I said, you know what? Giving us depth and giving us a breather on the bullpen was worth more. So you're going to see another stud here who also the innings pitched not super impressive, but all of our starters kind of stunk this week. I'm just going ERA. The rest of the numbers also kind of translate. So just use your imagination or your memory to think about how bad these guys were. Jose Barrios, our best ERA for our starting pitchers this week, 4.5.
Okay.
Uh, Gary Gossman, 6 for an ERA. Chris Bassett, our Cy Young frontrunner, 6.75 is his ERA this week. Bowden Francis, 5.79
Yeah.
from Bowden Francis. And then Easton Lucas, 1 and 2/3 innings, allowing 6 runs. That's good for an ERA of 32.4.
Yeah.
So speaking of Easton Lucas and the disaster that he had, in relief comes stud number 1, Paxton Schultz,
Yeah.
MLB debut, in relief, 8 strikeouts, 0 walks, only
Is
2 hits allowed through 4 1/3 innings. Look, I don't know if he's the real deal or not. I mean, statistically, probably not. But man, what an outing from Paxton Schultz.
It
So he
truly
was
was, and
your number one stud this week.
he accumulated 0.3 WAR off of that long inning relief appearance.
Yeah.
He is the long man in this bullpen right now. He's going to
Apparently.
probably get some spot starts. I mean, they're skipping that fifth man in the rotation this time through. Yesterday, with the day off, allowed them the opportunity to do that. How are things going to shake out come next week? Your guess is as good as mine. I think that the Blue Jays are still really hoping that they can fit Max Scherzer into there for a start. We'll see. If it's not, Paxton Scholes is probably the guy getting the ball, and you hope that you see something similar to what you saw his first time out. Listen, I watched Paxton in Buffalo all season last year. He is a reliable guy who gets it done. He's nothing to get excited about here. This isn't going to be the savior. This is very similar to Easton Lucas. Every good inning we get out of him, found money. Let's take it.
Yep.
So great job by Paxton Scholes. A big
There you
5 points there, winning that dud or winning that stud award.
Stud number one. Honorable mention does get a half point for this guy, George Springer.
Mm-hmm.
It was tough pickings, man.
Yeah.
As far as full-time players go, Bo Bichette led the way, 26 at-bats this week. Andres Jimenez, 24. Vladdy, 22. George Springer, 21. Santander, 21. Everybody else in the teens or lower as far as at-bats go. Hence Ernie Clement being in consideration with part-time work. But George Springer, 21 at-bats, was the only, let's call him, full-time player with an OPS over 700 this week. Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
So George Springer, honorable mention, a 766 OPS. Look, that's if you're getting a 766 OPS out of George Springer this season, I think we're all thrilled with that, right?
Yeah, agreed.
So George Springer, 5 hits, 3 doubles, 5 walks versus 6 strikeouts. So pretty good numbers there. 2 stolen bases and 2 RBIs. Look, maybe I'm underselling it. It was a good week for George.
It was.
All things considered, it was a great week. But he's your honorable mention this week. Dud, we'll get through these quickly here. Anthony Santander is your dud of the week. He continues to just. He had the 1-2 home run outing, and since then it's been nothing. 0.95 batting average this week and a 225 OPS.
We are going to talk Anthony Santander a little bit more in depth as we get into this show, but
Okay.
I will say when it comes to the positives that Anthony Santander can contribute to this team, they are almost zero when he's not hitting dingers. Power is by far his main tool that this team needs, and with minimal plus side when it comes to defense and minimal on base percentage, you really need to see home runs out of this man. And again, we are going to dive in more on him and his slow starts and all that stuff. But right now, a well-deserved dud.
Dishonorable mention, Jacob Barnes, slightly edging out. So he got the love lady treatment. So his numbers, a 36 ERA, worst on the team this week. 1 inning pitched. I mean, we don't need to kick a dead horse here.
Yeah.
He's gone, and Easton Lucas is glad to avoid the
dud list.
Dishonorable mention that Jacob Barnes took the bullet for him there. So there you go. That's your 3 studs and a dud. Running totals for the season. I'm not going to give a full breakdown because there's starting to be quite a few names on this list now. But I'll go through your top few. So Bassett leads the way with 6 points. Andres Jimenez with 5. Paxton Schultz with 5. Springer 4.5. Vladdy with 3. Dead last is Anthony Santander, who's a -1 on the season. So
Okay. There
there
you
you go.
go.
There you go.
All right, we are going to get into Dalton Varsho, where he is at with his rehab. Well, like I said, talks Anthony Santander and the Powerless Jays. Bo Bichette. The more that this season gets into it, the more question marks I have around what is his value? How much term is this guy going to get? What does his free agency look like? So we will touch on that. We'll get into the AAA Buffalo Bisons and who there is exceeding. And I know we kind of talked, excelling, I should say. I touched on the fact earlier in the week that external help isn't coming for this team. So anything that we see improved when it comes to this batting order is going to come from within. Can it be from Buffalo? I don't know. I know, Adam, even I think you said earlier in mailbag on Tuesday something along the lines of, I don't know if this team has another Davis Schneider kind of hot streak in them somewhere, where you
Mm-hmm.
get so lucky and one of your B prospects gives a performance for 3 weeks and
Mm-hmm.
sets new records in Major League Baseball for debuts. I'm with you. I don't think we have another one of those in us. Is there anyone who could help this team? Maybe there is. And then we'll finally touch on the fact the Blue Jays are against the New York Yankees for the first time this season, heading into New York, and how things shake out. We'll dive in. Before we get right into this, too, just a quick reminder here. Monday, April 28th. Yeah, you're sick of all the political stuff. You're tired of hearing about it. You've gone and done your civic duty as a voter, and you're looking for some way to just unwind, have a beer, and maybe talk your favorite sport. Well, guess what? I got you covered if you're in Toronto, everybody. Left Field Brewing. Come on down. It is Baseball Town Trivia Club. All Toronto Blue Jays questions all the time. 2 hours, and you can win up to $100 in food and booze from Left Field, and you get to return for free to the next Baseball Town Trivia Club. Feel free to come on by. That starts at 7 p.m. at Left Field. It's $10 to come in. You can get your tickets right now in the ticket link below. So there you are. Now let's dive into Dalton Varsho. By the way, this is kind of cool, Adam. Dalton Varsho rehabbing with the Buffalo Bison right now, and his dad Gary also played with the Buffalo Bisons. So
No
we're
way.
yeah, so we're well
Huh.
aware that Mr. Varsho is a bloodlines guy. He fits in well on this Blue Jays team who
I
loves their
just,
bloodlines.
man, okay. So one thing I know is that the locals for those minor league affiliates, and this goes for like all across Major League Baseball, they
Yes.
love their local team, right?
Yes.
And I just love the thought that there's like an old guy that has an old Varsho jersey
Yes.
and is like, I get to bust it out again.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. It's so
Oh
cool too,
man.
because I know Brian Frank, he runs the Herd
The
Chronicles, friend
herd.
of the show. He's been
Yeah.
on numerous times from Buffalo, loves that team. He's been going to Salem Field since it was, pardon me, built in the 80s. And he's been going to games since he was a little boy with his dad. And he does some excellent reporting. And if you're
Mhm.
into the Buffalo Bison, I would really suggest you check out the Herd Chronicles. But he had a story about Gary Varsho playing with the Bisons, and that even Dalton was kind of excited to put on a Buffalo Bisons jersey, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's cool.
yeah, absolutely. So,
Nice.
kind of a neat, a relevant story, but a neat story nonetheless. When
Yeah.
your team is 0-5 in the last 5 games, sometimes a little sunshine comes from odd places. So there you go, Gary Varsho, former Buffalo Bison, completing the bloodline circle there with his son Dalton. And Dalton Varsho, still unclear how long he is going to be in AAA. He's obviously in the midst of rehabbing. And the big thing with him, he's been swinging a bat all spring. His hitting is where it probably should be. I know it was reported that he feels quite comfortable in the box right now and is ready for big league swings. His biggest thing he needs to get over is, can he play the outfield? What's it look like when he is gearing up for a throw? Again, it is a shoulder surgery that he underwent. So they need to make sure that he can gun a guy down at third trying to steal that extra base, right? Go home when a guy's tagging up from
Mhm.
from third. So he did just make an incredible diving catch on Wednesday, Dalton Varsho esque. We've seen him throw the ball in a few times here. How does he feel? I know that they reported that he's still feeling it after the games a little bit. So is he a week away? Maybe. Is he 2 weeks away? Maybe. Do we see him this week? I mean, it's really going to depend on how his body is recovering after he plays a game. So, so far, so good. The Bisons are playing every day. So hopefully next week, Dalton Varsho back in this lineup. My question for you,
Nice.
Adam. Obviously, this is a better team with Dalton Varsho in the lineup. Just his intangibles when it comes to the defensive side of the game is enough to just say that without needing to
Yeah.
put too much thought into it. But my question for you is, can Dalton Varsho make this batting order better?
I mean, you're not gonna like my answer, but yes.
Yeah.
Look, I'd love it if we were in a position where we were like, Dalton Varsho, how are we gonna sneak that ugly bat through our batting order? But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
with the
been
way this
so
team
bad.
with this the way this team's hitting, he's not taking at bats away from anyone of
This
value
is
right
this is the
now.
thing.
I mean,
This is the
Anthony
thing.
Santander is the dud of the week. Our number one thumper on this team isn't thumping. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., despite the fact he's putting up numbers and hitting, there's zero power there. We are going to talk Bo Bichette here shortly, but I just don't understand what is going on with Bo Bichette. You know, like you look at through his career, and he was a guy who always had power. He was a dude who we talked about numerous times could be a 30-30 guy, right? 30 stolen bases, 30 dingers, and the guy hasn't hit a home run in over 200 plate appearances. Yeah, Dalton Varsho, put him in there. Listen, my thing with Varsho is that you would think with where he's at in his career, he is what he is. And I don't even know if that's necessarily true. We did see a little bit of pop out of his bat in spring training. We watched him hit 27 dingers with the Arizona Diamondbacks before the Blue Jays acquired him. Where is that power? Can it come back? You would hope so. I'm kind of at a lack of words here, Adam, for this offense. Like, what more do you say about it?
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer for sure. I guess if you're looking at our outfield, assuming everyone's healthy, right?
Mhm.
Assuming George Springer doesn't need rest and Dalton Varsho's back, where do you slide him in? So we're looking at George Springer, Alan Roden, Nathan Lukes, Miles Straw, and Dalton Varsho, right?
Yeah, so Dalton heads right back into center field.
So Springer's not coming out. Miles Straw, probably the lowest of that
I don't
ranking.
know. Probably
Maybe
Nathan
Roden.
probably Nathan Lucas is the odd
It's a
man
three.
out here.
This is where it's like where I'm like, yeah, give me fucking Dalton Varsho's 211 batting average, and I'm salivating, right?
Yeah.
It's because we're talking about okay, Springer is our stud outfielder, which like he should be, but it just
Yeah.
hasn't been for a couple of years. But hopefully this keeps rolling. But then we're splitting hairs over who's our worst guy, and it's like, well, we have three contenders. Like any of them are, you know,
Yeah. No,
I'm,
man,
I'm
I hear you.
flabbergasted, man. It's
I hear you.
Miles Straw, who historically not been the best.
I mean,
I
right
don't know.
now, small sample size, but he's one of the best hitters on this team
I
currently.
know. This is the thing is Miles Straw, 30 and a half years old. Nathan Lukes, almost 31. Alan Roden, 25. So it's like Straw and Lukes are both just kind of journeyman guys. Like they're
Hmm.
not,
So pick one. Probably
yeah,
Miles
pick
Straw because
one.
he's the one you're paying the most. And Nathan Lucas has options, so he can be sent back down without it being a big deal. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, Roden has been well, didn't have a good week
no.
for one. Let's just rip that band-aid off. Five at bats, or sorry, 15 at bats. He went over
Now,
with a
everyone,
walk.
everyone in the last week has been horrible.
Yeah. I'm not blaming our 5 game
Oh,
losing
by
streak
the
on
way, no,
Alan
no,
Roden.
no. I'm just saying, like, over 15, you would think that's dud category. Not this
Right.
week, it's not. Like,
Indeed.
not this week.
Indeed.
So,
Um,
and the only thing I will say about Alan Roden, and I know I'm being biased because I love the kid. I've made this very clear. He's had nothing but patience and time for us and coming on the show, very generous. So, yeah, I got his back. But also, big picture wise, this kid is 20 games into his major league career. He's 25. I say keep strutting him out there and hope for the best.
I'm with you. That I agree. Because I think that he's playing hard. He's playing the way you want your young guys to play. Like it's
Yeah.
good motivation for everybody else that's in AAA.
And he
And I
probably has the highest ceiling of all the guys you could give reps to right now.
yeah,
I mean,
indeed.
I come at me if you want with Jonathan Clase fucking stats and what he's doing in AAA. I'm well
Sure.
aware Clase is lighting the world on fire right now with the Bisons, and that's fantastic. Okay, there's other guys too that maybe you could make arguments that they should be given more opportunity. I'm sure there's an Addison Barger argument that could be made. Okay, and I'm willing to hear it out. But personally, I think 22-year-old Jonathan Clase needs more time, more seasoning in AAA. I think that when it comes to Barger, he's going to get his opportunities, and it's probably going to come in the infield, or I don't know where his opportunities come from.
Yeah, I think Barger's opportunities come at the expense of Will Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the
Yeah.
when Will Wagner's not cutting it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he is kind of
And
running
I
out
mean,
of
it's
runway.
already a very crowded outfield, and this is a perfect time to get into Anthony Santander, who is
Sure.
taking reps in left and right field. And although the majority of his time is spent at DH, is being put into the field. Listen, Anthony Santander, we all are well aware of what is going on, which is he is struggling early. We've heard it a million times. He always starts slow, blah, blah, blah. Santander came to the Blue Jays with a reputation of a slow starter, and his career he has slashed. And this is in 561 plate appearances in March and April. He's hit 208 with a 288 on base percentage and a 358 slug. And I mean, his numbers this year are even worse than that. His power production has been particularly weak out of the gate. So 14 home runs he's had career in March and April, and that's the sixth fewest in any month. Six fewer than any other month. Santander has hit twice as many in June, 28, and more than triple that in August, 44. So historically a slow starter, but how long? How long can we bang this drum before we need to see something out of our big free agent acquisition this year?
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone talks about what a good deal this signee was, right? You put it through the inflation equation, and it comes out to 14 million a year. Pretty good, far below what people expected um, the market value for him to be. But look at his numbers right now. He's a big reason why this team is struggling. And here we are again. We talked about it until we were blue in the face last year. We talked about it constantly in 2023. If the middle of this lineup isn't hitting, we have been screwed. Now, I will say that the bottom order of this batting, the bottom of this batting order, I should say, won us some games in the first couple weeks of the season, without a doubt. Where this team's record is at, on the season could be a lot worse if it wasn't for the bottom of that batting order early on. But things have dried up, and we need to see our big boys coming through. So coming into New York, Yankee Stadium tonight, can we see Anthony Santander put up some numbers? And again, power is where his skill set is. Power is where it helps this team long term.
Mm-hmm.
You hope to see it. You need more out of Vladdy when it comes to power. You need more out of Bo. And let's talk Bo Bichette right now. Bo Bichette, obviously a free agent at the end of this season. And I'll let you maybe pull his numbers up here, Adam, real quick, where he has succeeded when it comes to batting average. He has gotten on base, which is something that you do need to see out of your leadoff guy. Definitely been given a different set of obstacles this year for him to overcome, and he's doing that, right? So we need to see Bo's on base percentage a little higher. He's stealing a few bases, which we watched him really scale back on last year, partly, I'm sure, because of injury. So with Bo Bichette having, we'll call it a big payday coming up,
Mm-hmm.
you really do need to wonder, what is this guy? Who is Bo Bichette in 2025? Is he an average guy, a batting average dude who gets on base a lot? Is he a guy who can hit 30 home runs? He's never done it. 29 is his highest season in 2021, and it's been steadily declining ever since. Is there a way to recapture that? Or is it done? Like all of these questions are very muddy right now, and it's really difficult to determine what his value is. What is even the term attached to him right now? Could we watch, like, let's say, and I would love to hear from you, the grounds crew, as well. Let's say Bo Bichette does what he's doing, 750 OPS, minimal power, still continues to be a hits king with average to slightly below average defense. What do you pay for that guy on the open market? You
Yeah,
definitely,
it's a
you
tough one to
definitely,
value, man.
you definitely don't want to give him 10 years, do you?
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm fine with giving him term. I'd give him 14 years. I'd pay him right till he's 14 or till he's 40. If
Hmm.
it cost me 13 years. It's the AAV that I don't know where the number comes in. Like
Like, what?
I don't think he's I think if it was okay, because there is the extra context of he's super young and the lack of other big names out there, right? Like we're gonna see Kyle Tucker is now the big name that
Yeah.
Vladdy's off the board, right? And then beyond that, it's Bo is like number two.
I don't know if he continues to play baseball the way he's been playing. And I'm not saying there's not value in being a hits king. I'm not saying there's not value in a high average,
Well,
but
what Louis Arise
I
get?
was just going to bring up Luis Ariz. He's a free agent at the end of this year as well. And he does all of these skills that Bo does slightly better than Bo. Like if you're just going for a guy who gets on base and hits everything, power is where the most value's at. I just wonder if Bo Bichette is playing himself into a far shorter term, far less AAV contract than we maybe had been assuming. And I say this just from lack of power and if you look at all the guys who got these big contracts at shortstop, they all were putting up home runs as well, right? Bogarts, Turner, Seager.
Yeah, like I hear that. I just think that
And I'm with you. Maybe there is a way
age
for
is a
him to.
factor too.
It
Like, I
is,
don't
but
know, man.
he's not as young as like he's 27 going into. He's going to be 27 going into his free agent year. Like it's young, but can you trust he's going to improve even more than he is right now? Or is this who Bo Bichette is?
So his career numbers before last year. I know not everyone's gonna be willing to erase last year as the aberration. I am.
Yeah, me too.
I think five pretty well full-time seasons. I mean, the rookie season was 46 games. Okay. COVID season, he only played 29 of those games. So maybe it is a smaller sample size than I would like to admit, if I'm being honest. But career number through those five mostly full-ish no, I can't even say that. The rookie season was barely anything, and COVID was a month. So whatever it is, 2019 to 2023 of Bo Bichette was 500 career games, posted a batting average of 299, an OPS of 826. That's an OPS plus of 126. That's really good, man.
It is.
That is I love going to this. You guys know this about me. I love looking at the average per 162 games.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What does his career numbers break down to across a full season as an average? 27 home runs, 16 stolen bases, and 200 hits. That's what I'm looking at if I'm
And what I'm
anybody.
looking
I
at,
know the power hasn't been there this year.
that's my thing.
I
Wasn't
know,
there last
but
year?
no, but I'm going into this. If I'm Bo's camp and I'm Bo and I'm anybody that Bo is talking to, the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Mets or whoever is in the market for, I don't know if those guys even need a shortstop. I'm just throwing teams out there, right? Whoever he's talking to is only even going to be worth talking to if they're also willing to acknowledge that, like, look, yeah, he had a injury plagued season. That's not who he is. Here's the long resume. It's pencil him in for 200 hits and 25 to 30 home runs and like 42 errors. But that is
I mean, that's a
Bo
tough
Bichette.
sell. That's a tough sell
It's
being
not that tough.
he had 20. So in all of his seasons, he
Okay.
had 1 year where he hit more than 25. He hit 20 home runs in 2023, 2024 the year before.
Yeah, in 135 games, though. I know that this isn't like exactly fair, but the 2023 season where he hit 20 home runs, he did that in 135 games. So that was on pace for 24 home runs if it was a full season. And I know you can't exactly make that, but and the year before was 24. So, okay, 24 to 30 home runs. I know that like this year, not a good start. Vladdy or Santander, this is the worst team in baseball for home runs. I'm just saying there is a narrative you can spin if you're his agent or whatever and be like, yeah, look, Vladdy's a fucking 50 home run guy. They gave him $500 million and he hit 23 home runs in Toronto this year.
Mm-hmm.
So Bo only hit 17, but nobody was hitting home runs in Toronto. It's whatever. There's Anthony Santander hit 4 home runs for the Blue Jays this past season, or whatever it turns out to be. And I do think that Home runs come in bunches. This is what they say. I believe it. When it all shakes out at the end of the year, I don't think he's going to be 15 home run guy. Like I think he's going to be on the as long as he's healthy on the proud side of 20.
I sure hope you're right, man. I mean, I look at the zero currently on the board. I look at the four he hit last year. I'm well aware he was injured half the season. That's still 78 games with four dingers. And then you look at the
Yeah, yeah.
2023.
I okay, but also even the games he was in last year, that's not saying he was healthy for 78 games. Like he was in the lineup for half the season. I'm not saying he was healthy for more than a week or two. That's just my opinion.
And Adam, for all of the
I'm a
reasons,
Bo Bichette apologist.
for
I'm a Bo Bichette apologist.
for
I'm sorry for
literally
that.
everything we're talking about right now, this is why I think Bo Bichette has more questions around his free agency than ever before. I literally have no
Yeah,
idea where his market value's at, and I just don't think it's near as high
I agree.
as maybe we in Toronto think it might be. Now, this is also April
I don't
25th,
I
right?
don't think
So
he's
so
I don't
he
think he's
could
30 million a year.
Oh God, no, he's not 30 million a year. It can't be 30 million a year. Like fuck, he's not even 20 million a year right now.
No, no, no. But that's what I mean. Like that where if that's the starting point, sure. But I'm still very content to give him 12 years. If he's going to be 28 this offseason and we're going to give him a contract that he plays the rest of his career just like Vladdy does in Toronto, okay. Give me Bo Bichette for 250 million over 12 years all day long. I'll give him 20 plus million a year and not sweat. I feel very good about that value. I think that's more bang for your buck than you're going to get out of Vlad.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know. The lack of home runs scares the shit out of me. Like I'm just like there are so many better defensive
Nah, I
shortstops.
never counted on Bo for home runs though. Sure, he's a table setter. He's a get on base guy. He's a doubles machine. That's all I want from Bo is just double your way out of the trouble of Vladdy's grounding into double plays.
Yeah.
Get onto second base so that Vladdy can advance you to third. That's
Yeah.
that's all I need out of Bo. I don't need 30, 40 home runs out of Bo. If we get it, it's a bonus. But uh, yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. But maybe that means that you don't pay him. Like if that's, I guess home runs get paid, right? Like
And
so we'll
that's all I'm
see.
saying is like for what he's providing right now at 18.5 million,
You're right.
I don't know if he gets a raise on the open market from here.
You're right. If this argument is what is he worth? Sorry, I guess I'm defending it in a the Jays should retain him, and I
Yes.
think you would still agree with that, right?
Hmm.
You're right. You're arguing what is he worth, and I'm not arguing that. So I'm sorry. I've been defending him in a wrong direction. I'm defending that I still want him on the Jays,
And I also want
right?
him on the Jays.
But I
I
think the
just
AAV
wonder
is
what
going to
he's
have
worth.
to be high. Yeah, I think he's still a young shortstop, and those don't come around very
No,
often.
and that's true. And his contract may blow my mind. I wouldn't be surprised. And we are sitting here April 25th, and honestly, there is so much to still be determined this season, and Bo Bichette could have a big part of it. And if he does, obviously his value is going to increase.
I would guess it starts with a two, and it's more likely to start with a three than it is to start with a one. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like I'd be more shocked by 175 than I would be by 300.
I would need to see a really good season out of him for that to be the case. But yes, I would agree with that if he has a good season.
I think we're well on our way to seeing a good season out of Bo.
Hmm.
I I I I, I know he's got zero home runs. but everybody on this team has 0 home runs.
No, that's true.
Like he's got a 296 batting average and an OPS over 700. If
Hmm.
he hit 3 home runs by accident, the way Andres Jimenez did in the first game of the season, we'd be feeling way better. Like he's going to run into a couple home runs. He just hasn't yet. But like, I don't know. The It's April 25th of it all does make it a little easier for me to apologize for Bo's zero. Again, not Anthony Santander's because we're paying him for home runs specifically.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's He's like one series away from leading the team in home runs
Yeah.
because nobody's hitting anything. So I don't know. And I hope it happens soon. I hope it does. But at least he's getting on base and he's hitting a lot.
Hmm.
He's I don't know.
Great. All right,
The
buddy.
stolen bases being down bums me out more than the home runs being down.
The home runs being down bums me out way more.
Man, our internet went to shit here
I
at the
know,
end,
buddy.
eh?
I was just gonna say we should probably wrap up here because this is just getting frustrating. I'm sorry to
Let's
everyone
wrap
out
it
there.
up.
I don't know what's going on here,
Yeah.
but real quick, we will touch on the fact that the Buffalo Bison's a couple of guys to keep your eyes on. Jonathan Clase continues to get his hits and get on base and be the leadoff guy in Buffalo that everyone was hoping he would be when they made that move to trade Jimmy Garcia to the Mariners for Jonathan Clase. The other guy to keep your eye on, friend of the show, Riley Terada has been absolutely on fire right now in Buffalo. He has 3 home runs, 5 RBIs. He's got an OPS of 945 and is hitting just under 300. He is a first and third baseman, so there is maybe some room with the Blue Jays if they want to shake things up or someone gets injured on that. Addison Barger, Ernie Clement, all the infielders that they got going on there. Riley Terada could be the dude who gets the next call up, 26 years old. And then Jonathan Clase, if there's an outfield need, I think is where we go from there. Uh, Heading into New York, Blue Jays. I'm just pulling up who they're. Oh my God. My phone here is all my internet. None of my internet's working. So the Jays going with Jose Barrios on the mound against Carlos Carrasco to start this series. You still with me, Adam, or are you completely gone now? All right. Well, folks, we did our best here. Adam just texted me and said his power went out. So there we go. The Blue Jays in it rough, man. 5-game losing streak in New York tonight. Carlos Carrasco on the mound for the Yankees. And of course, Jose Barrios hoping to get things right for the Blue Jays. And honestly, if there's a guy that we're going to have on the mound to try and do this properly, it is definitely going to be Jose Barrios. So go Blue Jays, go. Feel free to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Drop your comments below and we will get to those in mailbag on that. Take care of yourselves. Sorry about the weird internet connection and Adam just disappearing here. His power went out in Edmonton. So there it is. That is the Friday show. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Cheers.